Hello, ladies and gentlemen. After a bit of a hiatus, we are back. We are the Leeds Geeks. Myself and Mr. Jim Renfro, Eric Hegg will be joining us in time. Also, a special guest today, Laura Fleming out of Hawaii. Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Aloha, guys. Good morning. So I'm Laura, like Cody mentioned, here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. It's about 7 a.m. here. I'm actually a brand new ISA, and I'm fairly new to the real estate industry. Started out with one of the top producing teams here in the state as a member of their admin staff, got my license, and then transitioned to inside sales. So we're fortunate enough to have Robbie come out and do some training with us, and I've been able to connect with Jim and Cody and some of those teammates out there, and just looking forward to learning and absorbing from you guys.
Outstanding. Well, Jimmy, what do we got on the docket today?
Yeah, so Laura wanted to work on setting up those appointments for people who needed to sell and then buy. She also struggles with S's and C personalities, so Laura's going to give me a call. Laura, you can pick if it's a new internet registration or a Zillow call, whatever else. Basically, I'm going to do a SC type personality that has to buy and sell. And we're just going to kind of go down that rabbit hole, see where it goes, and go from there. So, Laura, whenever you're ready, go ahead and give me a call.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Okay, here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Hey, good morning. Is this Jim?
It is. Who's this?
Hey, Jim. Morning. My name's Laura. I'm with Team Lally Real Estate team here in Hawaii. Hey, Jim, noticed you were online checking out some homes and wanted to connect with you. Are you thinking about making a move this year?
Maybe, Laura. Yeah. Where did you say you're from?
Yeah, sure. So I'm with a real estate team here. You might have heard of us, Team Lally, here in Hawaii. And I noticed that you were interested in this property in particular here on 123 Main Street. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, Jim?
Yeah, just it looked kind of what we were looking for.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. Or are you considering a move this year?
Yeah, we're thinking maybe sometime this summer of maybe making a move. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So summer 2019. And when you say we, so you and anybody else, Jim?
Yeah, me and my wife Ainsley.
Okay, and your wife Ainsley. Awesome. So what's got you and Ainsley considering a move?
We just think it's time.
Okay, sure. Do you and Ainsley own a home currently? Are you guys renting?
No, we own a home
Okay.
as well. So we've been in this place for about 5 years.
Okay, about 5 years. And so, what do you like about the home that you're in now?
Not much, to be honest. It was our first house, and yeah, we want to get out of here and into something different.
Awesome. Okay, so you and Ainsley have owned the home for about 5 years, and so are you guys considering selling your current home, or are you going to hang on to it?
No, we'll need to sell it.
Okay, so you'll need to sell in order to purchase the next home. Is that right, Jim?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. And so I know you mentioned summer 2019. What's important about that timeline for you and Ainsley?
It's just when she's done with school. So that's why we want to wait, is get done with her school year and do it during break.
Awesome. Okay, so Ainsley's in school. What's she studying?
She's a teacher, actually.
Oh, okay, very good. And what grade?
She teaches K through 5.
Oh my gosh, K through 5.
Yep.
So she's an angel, essentially, is what you're saying.
A saint, actually. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, very good. So I can see why the summer timeline is going to work best for you and Ainsley. Hey, Jim, let me ask you real quick. How long have you guys been looking at homes now?
We started the process probably about 6 months ago, talking about it. And really just wanted to do a lot of research, see what was out there and what we could get for kind of what we're thinking for our price point. So yeah, probably about 6 months.
Yeah, okay, definitely. So that sounds awesome, Jim. So tell me, you guys have been looking for 6 months. What kind of search engines are you guys utilizing right now to search for homes?
A lot of Zillow, and then a lot of Realtor.com, and pretty much just those two.
Okay, yeah. So pretty typical websites. We hear that pretty often. Have you and Ainsley sat down with an agent yet? Are you guys a realtor that you've met with?
No. I mean, we know a few, but we haven't picked any yet.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Excellent. Okay. Well, sounds good. So, going back here to 123 Main Street, I see that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And is that pretty much the size that you guys are looking at?
Yeah, I mean 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 to 3 bath.
Okay, so 3 to 4 bedroom. What are you guys in right now?
It's a 3-bedroom, but it's pretty small. It's only about 1,200 square feet. So
Okay.
we want to get into something that's 2,500 to 3,000 square feet.
Right. Okay, so more square footage. Okay, and what's kind of driving that for you?
We just need more space. We have a lot of stuff, and just want to start a family.
Okay. Oh, very good. Okay. So, excellent. So maybe a family on the grow and a little bit more room for your stuff. I gotcha. All right, I got you there. So, this particular property that you guys are looking at, great area, excellent schools. I can see she'll be about a 5-minute to 10-minute drive from the closest elementary school there. Where is she planning to work? How's that looking like for you guys?
She'll probably stay at the same school, so even if it's a longer commute, it's fine.
Okay, so you guys don't mind a longer commute. Sounds good. And the home is over there in Eva Beach. What's attracting you guys to the Eva Beach area?
Oh, just like that area. Yeah. Just like being basically in that area, and the amenities that are there and things to do.
Sure. Okay. And then, you know what, Jim, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for work?
So basically work from home. I'm a programmer.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so commute really is not a factor then for you. Then.
No.
Okay, sounds good. So I've got some information on your home search, and that's great. I want to talk to you a little bit about the home that you're possibly selling. You guys have owned it for 5 years now, and what are you hoping to kind of get out of that home, Jim? What are you kind of hoping to sell it for?
We have no idea. I don't know what the market's really done in the last 5 years. We bought it for about $220.
Okay, great. And you guys have a mortgage out on the home right now, Jim?
Yep, we do.
Okay, great. Do you know about how much you owe on that?
I think we owe about $175 on it.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys are in a pretty good position, it sounds like, overall. And with the summer 2019 timeline, I would recommend that we and this is where I get stuck. I'm just like, I can gather the info, and then I'm just like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say next.
Yeah, let's pause there. That up until this point, Cody, what's your feedback? I'll let Cody go, and then I'll kind of ask you your feedback, and I'll give you my feedback, Laura.
So I think one of the biggest ones is you ask really good questions, but I think you're getting into your own head a little bit. So I noticed right away, mirror and matching started off a little bit rough. Just slow it down a little bit, bring the cadence back a little bit, and just lower your voice a little bit. Otherwise, you had really great questions, but there was one critical one I think you missed. Jim said something really important early on in the conversation. You asked, what was driving the move, and he said, well, it's time. And you kind of moved on forward, but you didn't come back to why is it time, Jim? Center in on that emotion and what's going to make them want to move. Figure out what it is. Why is now the time? Why have they hit that breaking point? But otherwise, I think you asked really, really great questions all through there.
Okay. So Cody, what would be a question that you might have asked in that scenario? So he said, well, it's time. What?
Jim, when you say that it's time, what do you mean by that?
Okay. Yeah. Just what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yep. Laura, what else do you think went well? What else do you think could have done different?
I think overall the high D in me comes out even when I'm mirroring and matching. I have a lot of transactional information, and what I struggle with is it's the deeper questions that still will get me the transactional information that I need, because the honest to goodness is, if we're 6 months out and they're going to need to sell in order to buy, I do need the transactional information. I need the nuts and bolts. So where I struggle, or where my pain point really is still that connection where they feel comfortable going deeper with me, but that will segue into the transactional mode. And Cody hit the nail on the head. In my own head is exactly right, because I'm already thinking, where am I going to steer this conversation next while you're still talking? And so, yeah, it's very hard for me is that I'm just like, just give me the information and I'll tell you what we need to do is kind of my personality. So, so yeah, I would say overall, that's my pain point.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, just kind of mirror what Cody said, digging a little deeper into that question when I said it was just time. A couple other things. Let me see. I'm just looking what else. I really liked your question. What search engines or how are you looking at homes? That tells me how much competition I have and where you're finding stuff, which is great. One thing I would have also dug into is I said I knew some other realtors. So what I always do at that point is like, oh, okay, so you know some realtors, Laura. What are you looking for in a realtor? And they're going to tell you what they're looking for. So, with Cody's thing where he said, why is it time? And now okay, why is it time? So that tells you their pain points. Yeah, I mean, on the surface, I'm saying I want to start a family and I need more space. That can mean 20 different things, though. I mean, it can mean I'm trying for kids. It can mean I'm adopting. It means I need more space because Ainsley's mom is moving in. Things like that. There's a million different things that it could be. First and foremost, though, is we got to get that mirroring and matching better. You stayed high D and high I the whole time. And I actually brought my S up to match you instead of you bringing your I down to match me.
Okay.
So let's kind of pick up where we were, which was like, hey, they need to move in summer because Ainsley's school. They want more space. Why don't we dig into that more? And then really we can kind of work on those transitions. So
okay.
If I was you, it would be kind of sound something like this. It would be like, hey, Laura, you said earlier, you need more space. I mean, is there anything besides you needing more space that's the reason that, you're trying to get into that house?
Yes.
And then kind of dig into that. And then also like, hey, Jimmy, earlier you said you knew some realtors. What are you looking for in a realtor? And that's going to give you two really good points of reference that you can now move of like, okay, Jim, so hey, your pain point is, you need more space, but really you hate your neighborhood, you hate your house.
Right.
And you said you're looking for this in a realtor. Does it make sense to maybe sit down? I know you're 6 months out and really come up with a game plan to get you guys into that house that you want.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does make sense. Great. So here's what we need to do then is I need to have you meet with someone to go over the price of your house so you know what your budget is. And then immediately following that, really get you in with that buyer agent so you guys can start to look at houses.
Right.
And if a lot of times people will say, well, hey, I want to move in summer. Why are we going to meet now? Well, hey, I don't know what your market is, Laura, but out here, I mean, the average days on market, depending on the price point, is anywhere from 60 to 90 days. And then you have closing. So you want to move in June? You need to put your house on the market now because it's going to take 5 months to finish that process.
Right.
Could it be sooner? Sure, but then we'll deal with that when the time comes. Sorry, we sold your house too fast.
Yeah.
we can do that and do a closing date that's further out. So
Okay.
does that give you a little bit better idea on things?
Yeah, I mean, great roadmap. I mean, I feel like the call's done, but I definitely want to do it because I definitely want to work on the mirroring and matching, and then making sure that I'm asking the right questions too. So I think asking questions for question's sake is also a mistake that I could easily make because it doesn't come naturally to me to just keep digging deeper. So, okay, so yeah, let's jump back in. So, all right, let me get my mirror match on here.
All right.
Okay, Jim. So, I know you mentioned earlier that you're looking for more space. Is there any other reason that you and Ainsley are really considering this move summer?
I mean, we need more space, but I mean, ultimately, we're just sick of our house. When we bought it, it was the only one that was on the market that we could really afford. And honestly, ever since we bought it, we hated this place. Coming home sucks. We don't like it. There's no sunlight. My wife hates it. Literally, it sounds weird, but my wife needs sun. Like, if she doesn't have sun, she's not happy and she's miserable in this house. And it kind of sucks, Laura, to be honest. We need more space, but we ultimately just need a place that we like.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Jim, and that makes total sense. So thanks for sharing that with me. So more space, more sunlight. What I'm hearing is, a place that you can come home and just feel at rest.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And not only feel at rest, but feel happy. like, hey, we're home and this is how home's supposed to feel like. Now it kind of comes home and it just feels like a tomb.
Sure, sure. When you say it feels like a tomb, tell me a little bit more about that. What are you looking for in the next house that will feel a little less tomb-like?
Something that's open, something with a lot of windows, something that, you know, we have some space in the yard. I mean, obviously, I know the prices in Hawaii are pretty crazy, but we're willing to spend money if we have some space and we like walking out the front door and just hopping on the beach or hopping out to some places nearby. We just want a really nice open concept that has a lot of windows that is close to things that we can go have fun doing.
Sure. Okay, Jim. Okay. So I've actually got a couple of areas in mind that you and Ainsley might consider looking at. And, I want to go back because a little bit earlier, you mentioned that a couple of realtors. And, I'm curious, what are you really looking for in a realtor?
We're looking for someone that can find us things that we can't find ourselves. So maybe some places that maybe aren't on the market yet, or places that maybe we just don't know about. I mean, we've looked in areas we know about, but there might be places we don't. Somebody that's actually a good negotiator. Someone that really listens. And last time we shopped for a house, there wasn't good communication. And when I'm talking with a lot of my friends, it seems to be pretty normal that they just either can't get a hold of their realtor or they just have to always be the ones initiating. And I just want someone that's actually there and communicating with me and will find me stuff that I need.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I hear you, Jim, and actually those are things that we've all heard before. Clients of ours, you get a bad experience or a subpar experience with a realtor, and sometimes it puts a bad taste in your mouth. So I can understand that. And then with the sale of your home as well, good communication, great negotiation. What else is really important to you and Ainsley?
Just getting it sold. I mean, that part stresses us out. The whole idea of putting our house on the market and having people come into our house and the waiting and everything else, it's just puts us at unease. I don't like it at all.
Sure. Well, it can definitely be a little bit stressful. And so I hear you there with getting it sold quickly. I'll tell you out here right now, days on market run anywhere from really 30 days up to 90 days, just based on where your home is. I want to look into that a little bit more and give you a little bit better picture of what that'll look like for you and Ainsley, Jim. But with you guys, looking to move this summer, would it make sense to you to, meet face to face with a realtor, go over some of your options, maybe narrow down your budget and see what it's going to take to get your home sold so we can get you into the next one?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. What does that process involve?
Yeah, sure. So what I would do, Jim, is I would set you up with my buyer specialist, okay? And she specializes out there in the Eva Beach area, can really work to find you in Ainsley that particular house, open floor plan, close to the beach, close to amenities. And then I'll set you up with about a 30-minute meet and greet with our listing partner, who also specializes out there with where you guys currently own. Okay. And so what that'll look like is we'll go over all of your options. We'll go over what the selling process will look like for you guys. And what we'll be able to do there is also help you and Ainsley really narrow down your budget. Okay. So we'll look at the other homes that are on the market, the other homes that have sold, Jim, and we'll be able to pretty well narrow down a price range that we'll be able to get your home sold for. And that'll really help us narrow down your budget for your next home. Does that make sense?
Yep, let's pause there.
Okay. Ugh, I feel like I talked too much. Like it's too much talking. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It is. What other feedback do you have for yourself?
Okay, so it's too much talking. Mirroring and matching was better. It feels so foreign to me, and being a new ISA, like, I'm very well aware that this is one of my biggest pain points is the mirroring and matching. It's hard. I feel like I have to get in character. So, so staying down there, I feel like brings my energy level down, and I still want to have positive energy, but be the S and C. So struggling with the mirroring and matching, I think it was better tone wise. But I'm just talking so much. I have so much information I want to share with him. And I'm not sure how to do that in a more back and forth way rather than just giving it all to him.
Yeah, I think that's a good feedback, and we can kind of dig into that. Cody, did you have some feedback from when we started over?
Yeah, so excuse me. There's a couple things I've got here. One, that pain point with the mirror and matching, it never goes away. So you're not you're not alone there. One thing that I found particularly helpful as I'm dealing, because I'm in the same boat with you. I tend to want to be upbeat, I want to talk a lot, and I sometimes tend to steamroll people. One thing that I did, especially with S's and C's, I found somebody that I know and that I'm close to in the office that is an S and a C, and I just emulate that person. The whole time I'm having that conversation is, how would they answer that question? I found that's pretty helpful. So maybe that'll be, something that you can use. You had said earlier before we started again, and I think this is a really good point here about, you want to, tell them, fill in the blanks, and then show them the plan. One thing that I might recommend as you're working with S's and C's is ask them, hey, Jim, obviously we know what you're looking for in a place. We know what you're dealing with now in your current place. What's your game plan here? Because it's very easy because we have the information to lay out that game plan for them. But if you get them thinking a little bit about, oh, actually, I don't know where to start here, you have immediate value add. You can come in and then that's your whole transition right there. Don't get so caught up in, there's these magic words you need to say, like it's a magic spell. Then all of a sudden the conversation is going to flip. Play to your own strength. Just ask them, hey, Jim, what's your plan here? How can I best help you? And they'll tell you exactly what they need, and they'll play right into your hands. So also you said a lot, would it make sense? Would it make sense? I have a hard time with that question. I think Jim gave it to you easy a lot of times. But what I found is when you ask somebody, does it make sense? They'll say, well, no. And unfortunately, that's just something that, when you say it doesn't make sense, the brain registers, does it make sense for me? One thing that I say a lot is not would it make sense, is that reasonable? Is that reasonable? Because people fundamentally and psychologically have a hard time refuting something when you say, Laura, is that reasonable? As compared to does it make sense? Again, does it make sense for me? Maybe not. Is it reasonable? Absolutely. So
I love it. I'm really going to start using that line today.
Yeah, and that's a great line that Cody went over. The other one that I always say is would that be beneficial? Making sense and reasonable and beneficial are all very, very different. But the last two bring in a lot more yeses than doesn't make sense. You had the one thing I think is just dig in a little bit more, and that's going to be the number one thing that you struggle with. I know it's the number one thing Eric and Cody struggled with too, where you hear something and we just take it at face value. Dig into it a little bit more. I opened up a little bit more on things, but you could have dug into some things a little bit more as well. One thing you did do is you restated the time in the home. You restated what does happy mean to you, I believe it was, with the home, which was a great question because then I had to paint the picture, right? And basically let you know what I meant. You had stated a couple times later on, you said meet and greet and options and budget. And I think you said each of those 3 times.
Yeah.
So you're painting it in the picture of how that relates to you and your team.
Yeah.
Paint it in the picture of how it relates to the client.
Okay.
So instead of saying sit down, meet and greet, go over budget, let's just make it as short as possible. So Laura, hey, would it be beneficial to sit down and kind of come up with a game plan to get you and Ainsley into that house that makes you guys a little bit happier after the school break? Yeah, that'd be beneficial. Great. Well, with that in mind, they've already said it's beneficial, and they basically knew it's a game plan. They don't know what a game plan is. And then you just stated, okay, well, usually with our game plan, we sit down for a half hour on each side, kind of come up with a plan to get your house sold, as well as get you into that next place. Does that sound beneficial again? Great, let's do that. Okay, with that in mind, when's a good time to sit down? Instead of talking and talking and talking, let's just ask very short, concise questions in a very toned down manner that's not threatening to them, since the S's and C's, and really just let them make the decision in their mind. Hey, this is beneficial. It is good for me. And hey, Laura's talking like I do. She's like me. She understands me. So yeah, I really feel comfortable. Because if they feel steamrolled, they may actually say yes. They're not going to show up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, great points. And it all makes sense. It all makes sense. I think, being, brand new ISA. So I think I'm on month 2 now, right? This is where the rubber starts to meet the road, because you learn the big picture stuff, and I get it. And really now it's just a matter of bringing it together logistically. So the nuances and the phrasing and things like that, like putting those nuts and bolts pieces together with the bigger picture, I think, that's where you guys really come in. And that's where, that's why scripting and role playing is so crucially important. And I think also, if I can say this is why it's important to do it with people outside of your team, because the bad habits of your team, and we come from a scripting background. Okay. So the connection and the, everything that we learned, through Robbie and we've learned through you guys, it's new to us because we come from a very scripted background. So, where this helps is really reaching out, using, like the Lead Geeks portal and connecting with people outside of your team, because they do things differently. They say things differently. And it's like, bam. And you're like, well, why didn't I say that? Like, that makes so much sense. Of course, that sounds better than what I just said. So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's like, I'm going to steal the, where are you looking for houses on? I'm going to steal that. You guys, you could steal stuff from Cody and I, what you learned today, and I think everybody wins. So yeah, let's recap it. So Laura, what are kind of some key points that you took away from today?
So key points, my number 1 is I've got to work harder on my mirroring and matching. Sometimes I get it in the first 5 seconds and then it kind of fades away and my high D, high I comes out. So that's the biggest one, is mirroring and matching. And then the next really is just the phrasing for me. I can get the nuts and bolts, but it's how I'm getting there that's going to be more important to connecting with the client, versus the way that I'm doing it now. So things like, and I wrote down these phrases, things like, does that sound beneficial? What's your game plan? I wrote, ask them. Would that make sense? Digging in more. And I wrote short and sweet, and I underlined it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, going back to kind of the recap that I would say is mirroring and matching is number 1. And that's going to be the number 1 thing you struggle with for this first 6 months. I mean, honestly, I've been doing this 4.5 years. Some days I still struggle with it. So it's something that always has to be top of mind. Secondly, let's dig in a little bit more on those questions. You're taking stuff at face value. Third, maybe get rid of some of the lingo, the meet and greets, stuff like that, and just going for that short, sweet, concise questions that are asked in a way that are non-threatening to the person on the phone. And what I mean by that is, if it's an S&C, it's very slow, very methodical. If it's a high I, you're just matching that. If it's a D, it's just very direct, very, very fast, and going from there. So yeah, those are kind of the key points. Cody, why don't you take us out, and Laura, just hang on the line a little bit longer.
All right, everybody. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw some comments down below if there's something that you want to see, or if you'd like to join us for a role play. Once again, from Fargo, North Dakota, and the sunny and much warmer Hawaii, we're the Lead Geeks. Signing out.